Hello, everyone. I want to talk to you guys about a story that I saw today that really confirms what I've been warning about for a decade now, and that is the rise of the Republic of Sodom. This republic gets enraged at anyone who refuses to bow down before its altars, refuses to submit to its religion. And today I saw a story that really confirms this. I am talking about the hockey player Ivan Provorov. This guy refused to partake in a pride event, and a bunch of ambassadors from the Republic of Sodom are just enraged by this. And what's what's amazing is that the ambassadors of this republic, they love to talk about how tolerant they are. They love to talk about how much they want to advance tolerance and how Christians are intolerant and people who don't agree with them are intolerant. And they are the ones who are the forces of tolerance, the forces of inclusivity. And they love to use this word all the time. But the moment that somebody refuses to acquiesce to the religion of their republic, the moment that someone refuses to bow down before the altars of their republic, they become enraged, they become insufferable, they become intolerant. And I saw a video of some guy who's a sports commentator he's a sports commentator for hockey. His name is E.J. Roderick. And what did this guy say in regards to Ivan refusing to acquiesce to the religion of the Republic of the Alphabet Army? He said, "Go back to where you come from. This Ivan guy needs to go back to Russia. Go back to where you come from. Go back to where you came from. You can leave America. Leave America." Play the clip.
And Ivan Provorov can get on a plane any day he wants and go back to a place where he feels more comfortable, take less money, and get on with his life that way, if it's that problematic for him. And he's been in North America for a long time. He played in the Western Hockey League. He's now been in Philadelphia for many years. If this is that much of a problem for him to maybe assimilate into his group of teammates and in the community and here in this country, that's okay. Listen, you can feel any way you want. But the beauty is, if it bothers you that much, there's always a chance to leave, go back where you feel more comfortable. I understand there's a conflict of sorts going on over there. Maybe get involved. So
basically, the racist, the presentation of the racist, right? It always has somebody who will talk with such rhetoric, someone who will say things like, well, these people need to go back to where they came from, right? Like some redneck guy points to a bunch of immigrants from Africa or Mexico and says, well, these people need to just go back to where they came from, dang it, right? They need to go back to where they came from. And racist people will say this. It's not just a mere stereotype that comes from thin air. It's real. They are people who talk like this. It's just that it's not just people who hate immigrants who talk like this. It's not just people who call themselves conservative who talk like this, or people who will say that they vote Republican who talk like this. They are people who vote Democrat who also talk like this. It's not just Republicans who will talk like this. It's also Democrats. Liberals will talk like this. They will talk like this once somebody defies their religion, their ideology, their worldview, their paradigm. And I've seen this before myself. I remember when I was in middle school, and we had this crazy liberal teacher who said, oh, the ancient Greeks, they were the first feminists, they were the first people who pushed for women's rights. And I told her, and again, I was, well, not again, because I haven't said this in this video yet, but I was 11 years old at the time, 11 or 12, I think I was 11. I was 11 years old at the time, and I said, women have plenty of rights. What are you talking about? Why are we talking about women's rights, right? This was my first introduction to feminism, right? This was my first introduction to the SJW ideology, and this was back in 2001. All right, this is in ancient times, and here I am hearing about feminism in a classroom for the first time, and I'm like, why are you talking about women's rights for? I don't get it. I don't understand this. Like, they have all the rights. What are you talking about? And later on that day, I was in the classroom, and the teacher told her assistant teacher, "Did you hear what Theodore had to say today?" And this assistant teacher obviously was already told about what I said, because immediately, she didn't even ask, like, "Oh, what, what did he say? What are you talking about?" She was like, "Ted, I am so sick and tired." This is what she told me. She said, "I am so sick and tired of people who hate on gays." And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. And then she said, "If you don't like it, Ted, you can go back to where you came from, where people kill each other." She was referring to the Middle East. And what's crazy is that a couple of years after this, America would invade Iraq and kill a whole bunch of people. Civilians, innocent people. So she's telling me to go back to the Middle East, and she's saying, "Oh, in the Middle East, go back to the Middle East where they kill each other and blah, blah, blah." She was talking like a total racist. So she said, "Oh, I hate people who are intolerant." And then she tells me to go back to the Middle East. And I wasn't even born in the Middle East. I was born in Oakland. I mean, people kill each other in Oakland all the time. It's one of the crime capitals of America. But it's not the Middle East. So right there at the age of 11, I experienced this Democrat liberal racism. And it exists. And I would later on in my life experience it again online, when I began to voice my opinion in regards to the alphabet ideology. And I got so many messages. I can't tell you how many messages I got. I got so many messages from the warriors of the alphabet telling me to go back to the Middle East or to go back to Mexico. And in the Hollywood presentation of a racist, they will always have somebody say things like, "Well, these immigrants need to go back to where they came from." And they'll say, "Look, that's a racist." And they're right. That is a racist. Those people are racist. But liberals and Democrats act the same damn way. And this is the hypocrisy I see. They'll say, "Oh, yeah, we love MLK. We love Martin Luther King Jr. What do you think about Margaret Sanger?" "Oh, we love her." You're a hypocrite. "Oh, these fascists in America and the Christian right and the far right, they're fascists." Really? What's your opinion on Ukraine? Oh, we love Ukraine. We support Ukraine. But yet you're willing to support the far right in Ukraine? You hate the far right in America, but you're willing to support the far right in Ukraine. You don't have any discernment when it comes to that. That's the hypocrisy. And you see it in this story about this hockey player. This Russian guy says, "Listen, I don't want to participate in this pride event. It goes against my religion. I'm a Russian Orthodox Christian." Go back to where you came from. If you don't like it, go back. You can leave. Then there is another example of this lunacy. There's another example of this intolerance. Here's an example from a guy. He's a sports commentator in Canada. His name is Sid Seijero. I'm sorry, I don't speak Portuguese, but that's this guy's name. Here's a clip of this guy saying that the hockey team for which Mr. Provorov plays, which is the Philadelphia, the name of the team, it's not the Flyers. Sorry, I don't watch hockey. I don't watch sports. The only sports I watch involve men fighting each other in a cage, or women, because, Valentina Shevchenko is a great fighter. But this guy, this lunatic, Mr. Sid, the sports commentator in Canada, he says that the team should be sued for $1 million. So if you disagree, right, just by refusing to attend some charity event, You should be sued $1 million. $1 billion. What's the limit? How about $1 billion? How about $1 gazillion? How about $1 trillion? Right? What's the limit? $1 million. $1 billion. Play the clip.
Three things, technically. Provorov also spoke to the media after the game and echoed what Tortorella said, so I didn't feel the need to run it. This happened in baseball last year with the Tampa Bay Rays. There were 5 members of the Tampa Bay Rays who wouldn't wear a patch supporting gay rights, and Major League Baseball didn't do much. It was a story for a little bit. John Tortorella, many years ago, when racial injustice, and it still is till this day, but when Colin Kaepernick first started kneeling during national anthem, said anyone who does that on my team is going to sit. And he has a son who's an Army Ranger. So it's not like Tortorella in the past hasn't spoken on sensitive issues. The theme from the National Hockey League is hockey is for everyone, okay? The theme is not hockey is for everyone, ... unless you don't believe in gay rights, then do whatever you want. If the National Hockey League is going to do this, if any league is going to do this, do it properly or reevaluate what you're doing. Because there's not a lot of repercussions that I'm seeing from any league. Now, it could change with the NHL. I think you fine the Flyers $1 million for this. I'm not kidding. Figure this out and stop offending people on nights where it's not about that. It's supposed to be about inclusivity. The National Hockey League need to attack this and figure this out.
So just by refusing to attend some event, they say that you should be sued. In other words, he's not saying that the player should be sued, but he's saying that the team should be sued. Which, directly would affect the player because that would bring a bunch of negative attention on him. How many times have we heard about the intolerant Christians of America? How many times have we heard these stuck-up atheists coming out and saying things like, "Oh, well, Christianity, it believes in coercion. Christians will try to force things down your throat. Stop pushing your religion down our throats!" Right? How many times have we heard that? We've heard that 1 million times. But when it's up to them, they will be intolerant. They will use coercion. Lawsuits are a form of coercion. They're there to scare people. They are there to punish people, punishing them by taking money away from them, thus really pushing them into a state of fear. And in that state of fear, those people don't want to say what they want to say because they're full of terror, because they don't want to be sued. That's coercion. How many times have we heard these people say, "Oh, Christians want to control women's bodies and they want to push their religion down our throats and they want to indoctrinate us with their religion." Yet when someone says, "I don't want to participate in an event for the Alphabet Army," the Alphabet Army will get on that person's back and try to use coercion against him. We saw this with the bakeries. We saw this with the Christian photographers. These were huge stories back in 2013, I remember. There was a bakery in Colorado, and some gay guys came and said, make us a cake. And they said, "What's against my religion? I refuse to do so." And that baker ended up losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. And he had to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to this couple in quotation marks, over psychological damages. It's insane, guys. It's completely insane. What I will say to this is I think we need more immigration into this country. We don't have enough. I think we need to bring in tons of Russian immigrants into the United States. We need more Americans like Ivan Provorov. And this is not the first time that an athlete has defied the Republic. A number of years ago, we had the case of Jalen Daniels. I think that's her name, and she is a soccer player. She played for a team called the Carolina Courage, and she refused to play for the U.S. team. because playing for the U.S. team would have required her to have a jersey that had the pride flag on it, and she did not want to participate in that. She said, "Nope, I'm not going to play." And that's amazing. That was an amazing test. She threw off an opportunity that most people would have taken in the name of her faith. I mean, she has integrity, amazing integrity. Most people would not have done that, but she said, "No, I'm not going to put on the jersey for the U.S. team because it has that flag on it." And then I think in 2022, she refused to play a game for her team, the Courage, because it was a pride event. She said, "No, I'm not going to do it." So we need more Americans like that. We need more Americans like that, definitely. We need to bring in more Russian immigrants. That's what I think. Anyway, you guys just heard some theology. God bless.